One person we can't big up is Smokey Robinson. One person we unfortunately can't big up anymore is Smokey Blood Clot Robinson. Big oopsie doopsie for the fucking Motown legend Smokey Robinson, who's accused in a lawsuit of multiple sexual assaults on 4 women who worked for him as a housekeeper. Now, the really scary shit about this is that this is all recent. And this guy's like 100 years old, or maybe like 90 or something. This is the really crazy thing about this. Like, you're usually hearing this sort of stuff happening with men, you know, in, I guess, you know, in their middle age maybe. But I don't think you've heard, or maybe their prime per se, I don't think you've heard of a story of a prominent man being accused of sexual assault who was like in their like 80s, 90s and shit. This is kind of wild. So this is courtesy of Sky News. Let's read the article itself. It says 4 anonymous former housekeepers for Motown legend Smokey Robinson have claimed in a new lawsuit that he allegedly carried out multiple sexual assaults on them while they worked for him. The alleged attacks are said to have taken place at the singer's Los Angeles home between 2007 and 2024. According to the women who are seeking at least $50 million in damages in a civil case filed in the city. They also accused him in a suit of creating a hostile work environment. That goes without saying, by the way. If you're sexually assaulting me, it goes without saying that the work environment is a bit hostile. Forcing them to work illegally long hours and failing to pay them what they're owed. News agencies in the US have been unable to independently verify the allegations, and Robinson has been approached for comment. So that's crazy. That's crazy. That's wild. And that's something that I really, really detest, in my personal opinion. I detest. Why? Because I feel like when it comes to the whole like sexual power dynamics in the entertainment industry, the lines can get blurred very quickly. Because for better or worse, there are some people in that industry who are okay with exchanging sexual favors for career advancement. That is a stone cold fact, right? No one could argue against that. But the issue is that when you engage in those type of actions, it can lead to issues. It can lead to lines being blurred. It can lead to miscommunications. It can lead to issues, abuse, assault, whatever. So it's probably best not to do that. But there are some people who have definitely got a lot out of their career, or have achieved way more because they were happy to, you know, suck somebody off, you know, wank some, whatever it may be. But the thing that I've always detested in my personal, because I think when it comes to the entertainment industry, if you work within it, if you're trying to be a writer, you're trying to be a singer, you're trying to get into the industry, whatever it may be, you're playing with fire, but you're rolling the dice for your career. Cool. Do what you want to do. I would advise against it, especially if you're a woman. I would advise against kind of opening up your legs in order to kind of advance your career, because once you get that reputation, it's hard to kind of shake it off, almost impossible. But if you're going to do it, roll the dice. You know, good luck on your journey. But the thing that I've hated the most is when some of these guys in the entertainment industry then decide to try to abuse or use that same agreement on like regular people who work for them. So housekeepers, assistants and shit. That's the stuff that I fucking hate. It's one thing if like you're engaging in this weird play, this weird exchange of like, hey, I have a job, I have influence, I have power. If you suck me off, I can get you this, I can get you that. It's bizarre, it's odd, it's evil, it's dark. But if another consenting adult wants to agree to that, cool, do it. But then when you start doing it to housemaids, to like nannies and shit, like just doing their job, that's when you become a real monster. That's when you're a real piece of shit. So I think that's where kind of the Harvey Weinstein situation went dark for me. Because the Harvey Weinstein situation, if you really read into it, a lot of people would say behind the scenes that he's a man of his word, unfortunately. That if you did agree to, you know, sleep with him and shit, he would definitely help you become a Hollywood star. Which is also why a lot of prominent Hollywood actresses, especially, never came out and chastised him, because the ones that did work with him only had good things to say about him because, you know, he treated them well. Whatever you want to read into that. But when you start abusing maids, when you start abusing cleaners and shit, nannies and stuff, that's when, nah, you're a real monster. Because they're not involved in that world. They don't give a fuck. They're just working for you, trying to make a salary, look after their fucking family. And here you are trying to muddy those waters and disrupt their lives and blacken up their experiences by doing all this sort of shit, which is, again, unnecessary. But again, not surprising considering, you know, how people move in this industry. And even more so Smokey Robinson, because he's been a freaky boy for a while. Smokey's been a freaky boy. Let's continue. There's Smokey Robinson and his wife, Frances, in Los Angeles. I didn't even know he had a wife, I'm not gonna lie. The way Smokey Robinson moves, I didn't know he had a wife. I'm not gonna lie. The way Smokey Robinson moves, the things he says, like the way he dances on stage, I had no idea he had a wife. Big up Francis though. The claimants say that Robinson, who's 85 years old, imagine sexually assaulting people in your 80s, would wait until he was alone with them in the house before carrying out alleged attacks, despite objections. All the women who have withheld their names for privacy reasons eventually resigned over the assaults. The lawsuit claims, though in some cases it took several years. According to the suit, they feared coming forward over fears of retaliation, public shame, and possible the effects of immigration status. Maybe the public shame comes around letting an 85-year-old man abuse you, you know? Because he's so frail. Maybe people would think, oh, you should just push him away. But in that instance, in that scenario, I don't think you can victim blame at all, because, you know, people freeze up. Those situations are fucking horrifying, and you have no idea how you're going to react to it unless you're in it. So no one should be feeling public shame about this sort of stuff, especially if true. The claim further states that Robinson's wife, Frances Robinson, enabled his behavior. Whoa. Similar to Chris D'Elia and his wife, innit? Frances Robinson enabled his behavior. It also says that she was responsible for creating a hostile work environment and shouted at them and used ethnic slurs. Yeah, I'm not surprised. This auntie right here, that auntie right there looks like she uses an ethnic slur or two. That auntie right there looks like she shouts at her fucking house helpers, the maids, and she definitely lets a racial slur or two slip out of the tongue or slip off her tongue for sure. That auntie there looks like she don't play no games. One woman suffered at least 20 assaults from 2012 to 2014, while another who worked for the couple from 2014 to 2020, was said to have been assaulted 23 times. A different woman whose claims have been made in the suit accused Robinson of assaulting her 7 times, including at least 1 rape in the year she worked for them. The 4th woman claimed similar experiences to the other woman, but did not say how many times she was allegedly assaulted during the 18 years she worked for Robinson. She also acted as Frances Robinson's personal assistant, hairdresser, and cook. Fucking wild. Smokey Robinson's out here essaying people in his 80s. Can you imagine? Can you fucking imagine sexually assaulting somebody in your 80s? It's like, bro, when will you ever turn it off? But we shouldn't be surprised, by the way, because remember his album. Remember that album that fucking Smokey Robinson put out that went viral, called Gasms, which is an abbreviation for orgasm, right? And it's got him on the front cover with his light eyes, right? Looking all sultry and shit. But look at the track listing of the 2023 Smokey Robinson album, Gasms, short for orgasms. The first track, Gasms. The second track, I Wanna Know, what's that? I Wanna Know Your... Actually, let me get up here because this guy is fucking filthy. Big up Smokey Blood Clot Robinson. So on Gasms, right? Big up the Gasms, man, them. The first track, Gasms. The second track, How to Make You Feel. The third track, I Wanna Know Your Body. This man's 80-something years old, by the way. I Wanna Know Your Body, right? The fourth track, I Keep Calling You. Fifth track, Roll Around. Roll Around. Number 6 track, Beside You. Number 7 track, If We Don't Have Each Other. Number 8 track, You Fill Me Up. And number 9 track, which is the most disgusting one of all, I Fit In There. I Fit In There, bro. This man's 80 years old. I Fit In There. Yo, opening your album with Gasm and then ending it with I Fit In There is fucking crazy. And I think I Fit In There might be the longest track on, yeah. And I Fit In There is the longest track on the album. 5 minutes 48. The longest runtime is 5 minutes 48. I Fit In There. What an absolute freaky old man. But yeah, it's kind of looking crazy for Smokey Robinson. It's kind of looking crazy for him. It's kind of looking crazy for Smokey Blood Clot Robinson.